Hello, everybody. I know you guys are just coming in to join us today. We were just a few minutes late. We're still adjusting a little bit. As you know, virtual events go, they're just as spontaneous and interchangeable as real events. So we're going to be joined today with some really amazing companies that are going to explain the challenges that are going to be happening at Hack.Asia. But we're going to be starting in a few minutes. I just want to do a self-introduction. My name is Graham. I'm CTO here at Angel Hub and WHub. WHub will be hosting the event today, as well as hosting Hack.Asia with some really amazing partners in association with our Startup Impact Summit. I'll be going through during the StartmeupHK Festival. So we're going to get to hear a lot more about what's going to be happening to the StartmeUp Festival, what's going to be happening during SIS, as well as how many amazing things that you're going to be able to come out with. And we're going to answer all of your questions, any of the concerns you might have as you're coming through with your amazing challenges and solutions. So we're going to be opening up at the end. We're going to be having a Q&A session. So by all means, you're going to be joining, asking questions through all the different explanations. So we're going to start off with an agenda of an introduction. That introduction is going to go through and explain about the events and about all this amazing stuff and all the partners that are coming together. And then we're going to split off into two streams. You're going to be able to join the startup stream, which will be hosted by myself, as well as the amazing challenge partners that we have. And then we're going to have another stream that is focused around students and innovators. And then that's going to be focused around all the different variables that are offered for the students and innovators. So if you have any questions and anything, feel free to fill out the Q&A. But in the meantime, we're just going to be waiting a few more minutes while we get everything sorted and everyone else joining. So just wait with us, and you can start the Q&A. You can start asking questions, and we'll facilitate that in the meantime. Thank you for joining. So I have a question here that was asked earlier. So people wanted to know what is really the kind of final submission that they're looking for. And so we're going to answer that tonight. And so we also have a couple questions related around, can I participate in multiple, can I participate with multiple teams? So these are some of the questions we know we've been asked already. So we're going to answer them now. So yes, you can join multiple teams. There's no problems, no objections for that. We want people to be able to experience the hackathon and come up with amazing products to be able to offer our amazing partners. So with doing so, you're more than welcome. But remember, you have 36 hours, and so you really want to be able to contribute the most you can to the teams. So be aware that time management is very important, because during the judging, it does matter on your team and those participating values you add to it. Another question that we had was, what's the final submission? So we're looking for each of the different challenges, we're looking for a prototype. We're looking for something that you're going to be able to offer at the end, in addition to your slideshow. So you're going to have a presentation that's going to go through and offer an explanation about your business plan. You're going to have something that's going to explain about how you're going to scale and where you fit within the challenge and how you're really solving those pain problems. And then in addition to that, really showcasing that demo. You really want to outline all the amazing work you've done, all the amazing work you're looking to do, and obviously couldn't have all the amazing work done without the amazing team. So don't forget to mention how amazing your team is and how they fit within your solution. So we're just going to wait a few more minutes as we get any more, so feel free to keep asking any of the additional questions, and we'll continue on as we need to. Okay, so thanks for the question. So yes, you will have to provide the materials. Now, what it comes down to, so there, obviously a lot of you guys have maybe participated in existing hackathons, and so there's certain kind of experiences that you have coming with that, which means you submit your source material, you submit anything that, what we ask for and ensure is that all participants have full licensing requirements for that given solution. So obviously their main goal is to be able to produce your amazing products and go forward with that. In which case, in order to be able to make a deal with some of the amazing partners that we have here for Hack.Asia, you really need to make sure that you have the right licensing capabilities to be able to offer that as a proof of concept or sell it as a product as is. So you want to make sure that you have the clear understanding of what you do offer. So for using something, as you were mentioning here, with Figma, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As for the designs and the sketches and wireframes, everything comes down to how you want to present it. My suggestions are usually present the best thing you can in the best way you can. And that would usually is going to be what ends up happening, showcasing the capabilities and amazingness that you guys have been able to produce within the time frame of the hackathon. So just to further illustrate a couple of the questions that we have, I'm going to go through and answer a little bit more. So we have a couple questions that question that was just asking about what do we need to provide at the end of the solution. Do we have to source the material where we got it from? Do we have to talk about the prototypes or frameworks or code itself? And absolutely, if you want to emphasize for some of those solutions that is AI focused, things like that, it's very good to have that. It really works with understanding where the solution's coming from. But do you have to say what frameworks and everything? Not so much, not the level of detail that you would expect from a code point. We really want to focus more about the solution itself. It's all about how could you come up with something amazing and how do you make sure that you get it done efficiently. So as most of you guys know, while we're waiting still, we have some amazing challenges that are presented to us by a few different areas. So obviously we're going to have the amazing Accenture producing their presentation and challenges today. We have Dairy Farm, we have Gammon, we have JLL, we have Microsoft JRG. So those are all the challenges areas that are going to be focused around students and innovators. So if you're interested in those specific challenges, I really hope that you'll be joining the stream that will be coming up shortly. That will really kind of emphasize and have in here all about those specific challenges. And then you'll be able to communicate directly with the challenge hosts and the representatives that are within there. As for the startups or the pre-existing companies, we're going to have Hactl that we're going to be having some amazing stuff there. And if you really have questions about that, we have some amazing programmers that are going to be representing that company today. We have Hongkong Land that will be here, as well as we have Jardine International Motors, which will be represented by Jardines themselves. And then we have Mandarin Oriental Hotel, which will be also present here today. Now, some people have asked a question about what really is the difference between startups and the students and innovators. Well, the startup side is really about existing businesses. The existing businesses that are already registered, are already running and going through proper businesses, where the students and innovators may have an existing solution, but they've not actually registered a business within that. They could be operating, they could be working on a prototype and everything, or they could be coming up from something from scratch. But the main point will be is that one has an existing business registration and the other one has not yet finished opening their own business to continue their passionate approach. So a few more minutes here and then we'll get going. So if anyone else, please feel free to keep asking questions. By all means, send it to me in chat, send it to me in the Q&A. If you guys aren't familiar with Zoom, there's two different options. You can send it specifically to me, or you can send it to the panelists, or you can send it directly to the Q&A, and we can see everything there. Great questions. Okay, so let's continue on with some of these questions while we're about to start. Okay, so for instance, I think the Accenture one, I'm going to leave that question specifically. We're going to let the, Amy's already answered it, which is fantastic. So yes, as it focuses on the travel industry, but I think you're going to be able to ask specifically Accenture just in a little while. You're going to be able to ask them directly. They're going to be able to answer you more concrete. So at 6:20, we'll be starting that part of the event, and you'll be able to answer them or ask them directly, which will give them exact feedback on that. So about the HSBC challenge add-on, fantastic question. So basically with that, we're looking to, in addition to all the other challenges that are available, if you're, sorry, just pulling up my notes here. So for the HSBC challenge itself, it's not just about we need to add a specific vertical for that. HSBC has provided the ability to enhance your overall solution to fit within your existing option. So in which case, then if you're willing to use Open Lab and you build it out through that means, then that actually qualifies you, in addition to the challenge you may be going for, to also qualify for the HSBC challenge. What will you be doing during the 36-hour hackathon? I would hope finalizing your products, making sure it's all working great, making sure it fits within, sure it fits within the challenge and solution. And during that time, really looking into talking to the mentors, talking to the domain experts that are within that challenge, because they will be all available to answer your questions, to fine tune and get all the details you need. And that will really get you to the best result possible. Okay. So sorry, there's a slight correction. So for the breakdown of each of the different challenges will be happening at 7 p.m. tonight. We're going to open up the rooms a little bit earlier, but the overall breakdowns and details will be happening then. So you're going to find out all those different details and specifically ask the Accenture team if you want to get more details, if you're interested about going through all the different challenges then. Okay, so I did answer this question earlier about what's the expected outcome for participating teams. The expected outcome is really to come up with a presentation to outline your business model, outline the details of what you've achieved the challenge and all the focus you've come in through, and then demo that product. You want to make sure it's not just, try not to be a theory. It's really not going to help too much if it's just a theory, but really prototyping and coming through with some sort of MVP to illustrate how qualified that challenge has been solved by your team. Great question. Microsoft Azure. It's not a must, but we really encourage. I mean, we have an amazing partnership here with Microsoft that are proposing the great ability to use Azure and be able to give it to all of our participants. There won't be a deduction in marks, but obviously we believe that if you really want to make an effective solution during this hackathon, Azure Cloud is really going to offer that capabilities for you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Graham. I think with that, we'll just launch the event. So thank you very much, everybody, for being online. Amazing to have so many people join the call. Welcome to Hack.Asia, our very first pre-event. And I would like to start by saying, once again, a huge thank you to all our amazing partners, Accenture, Hactl, Jardine International Motors, Gammon, HSBC, Jardine Restaurant Group, Dairy Farm, and here we go, Hongkong Land, JLL, Mandarin Oriental, and also our tech partner, Microsoft, and obviously hosted by WHub, and this Hack.Asia is part of Startup Impact Summit, which is part of the overall Start Me Up Hong Kong Festival week coming up in July. So just very quickly, so we're gonna run through some important points at the introduction, then talk about the mentoring. That's also one of the reasons why you're here. It's always a critical part of each and every hackathon. We'll talk a little bit more about the organizers as well. And then we dig into the challenges and make sure that we give enough time for you as well for Q&A. Okay, fantastic. So actually, I'm not sure who is joining a hackathon for the very, very first time. So what is actually a hackathon? So you can see it's hack plus marathon equals hackathon. And I always say, you know, entrepreneurship is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the other thing I always say, you know, entrepreneurship and running a startup, it's nothing that you learn in a textbook, only by doing. So what we're going to do is, you know, we're going to pack you into 36 to 42 hours to, you know, for you, get the experience hand-on to solve real concrete business challenges, okay? And you will see over a huge wide range of industries and technologies, and that's what's making Hack.Asia actually so special and so interesting. So why participate? So if you're still not 100% sure and you haven't really signed up yet, so why should I sign up to Hack.Asia? Is it for me? I'm sure it is for you. Once, obviously, you got prizes to win, right? Proof of concept opportunities, you know, for the challenges that are open for startups. So what's better than get your big first customer and client? For those who are joining the student stream, right? Internship opportunities. You know, you can land your big first job or your other more exciting job through this hackathon, and there's even, you know, some monetary gain as well. Then obviously, you know, as I said, you know, it's all about doing. The experience in itself is already worthwhile. Everybody is a winner who participates. The great connection, I mean, obviously the great connection to all our partners who are providing the challenges and the mentors you're gonna meet, but also connections to potential teammates. The number of startups, you know, that came out of a hackathon just because people really connected is amazing. A true certificate as well. So, you know, if you have to prove to anybody what you were doing over these 36 hours, you got your official certificate. Fun, come on, you know, life is short. We're all here also to have fun. And the good news and the cherry on the cake is you will be automatically part of SIS, Startup Impact Summit, which is, you know, once again, part of the whole week Start Me Up Hong Kong Festival. So, With that, we also really wanted to make sure is why are we doing it, right? So, why did all these great partners come together and say, let's bring Hack.Asia 2020 to life? So once was really celebrating the creativity and the entrepreneurial spirit of Hong Kong and showcasing, the deep impact we can all create and that innovative solutions can bring to the world. So unleashing the power of the tech community and the entire ecosystem to, once again, really truly make a difference, and then showcasing the combined strength and benefits, and showcasing also the benefit of what happens when you put more established traditional companies potentially, with very, very small, agile innovators into, one big online room. So with that, in summary, once again, it's taking place at, in July during Startup Impact Summit, so 6th, 7th, and 8th of July. It's going to be around 36 hours. Some people will always opt not to sleep for these 36 hours. They're going to be 10 challenges, and we'll dig deeper. Obviously, that's the reason for this pre-event. We're looking to have about 90 teams participate. And talking about the cash prize, it's 50,000 Hong Kong dollars to grab. And as I said, on top of that, internship opportunities or proof of concept. So this is, again, in summary, once again, for all those who were potentially still hesitating. Now, mentorship, I talked about one of the critical pieces of each and every hackathon is the mentoring area. And here we're really, really blessed to have a super strong commitment from our challenge partners. Be there on the ground. Make sure that you get obsessed with the problem statement, that you understand it, to make sure that the solution that you're building out of it is really, really dead on. So we classified them into, different chunks, also for you to really understand where to go to with what type of help you need. So there are internal, mentors. These are either team mentors or business experts. So once again, really trying to understand what are the practical and concrete, problems that these business partners are facing. And then on top of that, when you start building your tech solution, we also have external tech partners that come into play and help you actually not only get access to some wonderful tools that they provide, but also really some education and insight for you to, at the end of the day, come up with a solution that is tech power, that's really going to be dead on the problems you need to solve. So a little bit in terms of timeline. So today, pre-event, first pre-event, we have a series of pre-events. So again, just to obviously let the hype going, but also really, really get you prepared and equip you with everything you need. So next week, same date and time, there is the Microsoft Azure pre-event. So that is now part of the external mentorship that we had in the tech area. That obviously make sure you get your applications in, right? So unfortunately, if you miss that deadline, all good intentions are only going to remain good intentions. So make sure, put into your calendar, June 20th, we need all applications in. And then we take, 2 days later, some time to see if some people are still like floating somewhere around and not sure which team to join. We all get you into groups. So when we're going to kick off, on July 6th, everybody is ready. So we'll announce the finalists then just, a few days before on June 26th. And then there is the hackathon and, the StartmeupHK Festival and Startup Impact Summit. And then stay tuned. Obviously, we're going to see if we can get all together afterwards and celebrate. But before we celebrate, we do have a little bit more to share. We always get the question very early on, it's like, okay, give me an idea, like how is this whole thing going to work? It's a very detailed schedule. I'm not going to run you through point by point. You can see you're going to be busy really the whole time through, for sure. B, once again, you get all the resources that you need to really be successful. And then with that, you can see there is a QR code here on the side. Make sure to scan it. You can go on the website. That's also where you find, the applications. But here you can really, get a better understanding in terms of, how to prepare yourself for the days then. So with that, just a little bit of background also on who's behind that. So Jardines is a huge conglomerate with fantastic brands. As I said, you probably know them better by their brand names, but it's one of the biggest conglomerates here, operating mainly in Greater China and Southeast Asia. And so the companies, as you could see, are really active in fields of motor vehicles, related operations, property development, food, retailing, health, beauty, and you will discover that, through the problem statement. So we're really thrilled that we have problem statements from all of these areas that comes with, even including restaurants, luxury hotels, etc. And ourselves, if you don't know us by yet, then we are all defined by our hashtag Startup Passion, which is putting the startup in the center and then helping startups grow and scale their business. But with that, really fostering the entire ecosystem. So also helping any other stakeholder get access to the innovative tech and startup ecosystem and tap into the power. So with that, I am really, really thrilled to put some pictures behind names. So Amy, who's here also on the call, so as well as Keith and Kitty, our great partners on the Jardine side, and from the WHub team. You will always be able to reach out pre and during the event to myself, of course, but as well to Felix, our head of growth for WHub here in Asia Pacific, and then Graham, our alchemist. Funny that he agreed to have the title CTO here. He calls himself the alchemist. And then Alaric, our amazing project manager for Hack.Asia. So for those, again, who said okay, awesome, but I also want to know what's going to happen during Startup Impact Summit, scan the QR code, go on the website, you'll find an amazing program of opportunities, 15 different tracks. So one of the tracks is Hack.Asia. But if in the meantime you want to listen to an amazing talk, you want to get to pitch to Jason Calacanis, see if he puts some money into you on your first path to becoming a unicorn, please do so. And with that, I think I just really at this point in time want to make sure that you understand where to go. So after we have a presentation from HSBC and their challenge, we're going to break out into rooms, and the room 1 is for startups. And with there, you have the different problem statements that will be highlighted, presented to you, and where you can ask questions. So smooth operators, leveraging consumer insights for tenant selection, creating exceptional mobility and lifestyle experiences, and the bespoke experience for bespoke guests, right? So the add-on for HSBC is valid for both streams, so that's why we soon gonna hand it over to Peter. So room 1 for the startups, okay? Now room 2 is for all students and innovators who are looking for a team and are ready to tackle one of the following challenges, either ready for takeoff, that is provided by Accenture, retail reboot, building robust data foundations, cooking AI and big data, and that is actually a shared challenge with the restaurant group and Microsoft, and then building a better world. So yeah, since we have that add-on on HSBC for both streams, right? So for room 1 startups, room 2 students and seasoned innovators, we'll hand it over to the team at HSBC. So I think it's Peter who should be on the line, who's going to give us a little bit more insights about the add-on challenge given by HSBC. Peter, I can see your red glasses. You are on the line. You ready to talk? Okay, we stopped. Here you go. Fantastic.
I am. I'm here. You'll hear me?
Perfect. Can hear you very well. Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, look. Fantastic. Excellent. Well, look. It's wonderful to have an opportunity to just briefly give you all a sort of a bit of insight into how we are approaching this hackathon. Obviously, HSBC sees Hong Kong as incredibly important for the business, but it also supports many different parts of the ecosystem. Whether you're a customer and you use your HSBC account or your PayMe account to shop or buy things, or whether you're a business and you use your HSBC account to sort of make your payroll or receive funds from customers or pay suppliers. or if you're a large conglomerate and you use HSBC to manage treasury or cross geographical boundaries, be it China or be it other parts of Asia or even to Europe. So instead of asking innovators or students to come up with a way of trying to reinvent the bank specifically, which may not be as exciting as reinventing consumer services or reinventing new ways of solving problems in Hong Kong. What we decided at HSBC is, because we're so embedded in everybody's lives, and because we're such a big part of Hong Kong, being here for 150 years, very similar to Jardine, we decided to create an opportunity for everyone to focus on one of these problem statements that exist in Hong Kong, and then add an additional add-on to any one of these problems, because we know that there is going to be a commercial element to it. It could be a consumer payment element. It could be a financing element for a customer. It could be a small, medium business challenge in terms of financing supply or paying for product, or it could be a regional or a global challenge. Now, in order for you to add this on, it will be very, very easy for you to do this. So think about, as a primary goal, solving the challenge that you've chosen, and then think about how money moves in relation to that particular challenge. So if you're solving an automotive problem, go ahead and solve that, but then look at how money would move in the transaction, in the financing, in the service, in the operations of that challenge. And HSBC can plug in using, either the Open Lab or any other creative ways that you may have to solve that problem. And you'll have an opportunity to, in summary, the opportunity for you all in your teams, once you've solved the core problem statement or the core challenge, there will be a challenge that, in order for the business to make money, they'll need to move money, store money, or lend money. And so what we're able to provide all of you is an open sandbox of tools for you to connect your apps to, for you to connect your websites to, whatever your solution that you've decided to build, however you've done it, whether it's moving money, whether it's connecting to an account, whether it's connecting a credit card, whether it's a business account and you need to do a transaction on the back end. We have 267 different APIs with very, very, very clean documentation in JSON format, RESTful APIs that are very simple to use. We also have a bunch of externally ready sort of customer test data, so you could plug into a data set and you could showcase your app using what looks like real customer data. And if you haven't got somewhere to start, if you're traditionally a PowerPoint innovator or an Excel innovator and you want to start somewhere, we actually have a software development kit for an iOS phone app, or a software development kit for an Android phone app. You can go there, you can download a working version of the code into your own GitHub. You can customize that, modify that, use that as a starting point, so you can build a completely your own working version of an iOS app that solves this customer problem. And so the reason we're trying to take a slightly different approach to supporting this hackathon is because too often banking is seen as a completely separate service from many of our customers' journeys and many of the companies that exist in Hong Kong. And obviously we want to enable an acceleration of fintech across the different sectors, be it F&B, be it insurance, be it sort of automotive, be it transportation, be it hotels and real estate. So we want to do our best to try and accelerate the ability for these different companies that are participating in the hackathon to integrate fintech services, integrate seamless journeys and digital solutions for moving money, storing money, or borrowing money. We're doing this, completely to help build the Hong Kong economy. Supporting business in Hong Kong is incredibly important, particularly after the rough, 12 to 18 months that we've all been through. And we've got a team of mentors that are going to be available for you all to learn from. We've got some mentors that are specifically very good at digital journeys, very good at building solutions. We've got mentors who are very good at understanding banking and what banking solutions can support these different solutions that you'll need. And we've got just general mentors that can help you sort of refine your presentations and really try and get your pitch in, the scores that you're going to need to beat your competition. Because really that's what it's all about. It's about you guys coming together in a very short period of time, building something incredibly creative and innovative, impressing the judges of each of the 5 or 6 different challenges that you might have the opportunity to win some cash prizes, win some opportunities to build some proof of concepts, and then on top of that, you can integrate HSBC across any of them. So that's
thank you very
that's
much,
basically
Peter.
You're very welcome. Thanks again for having us. Good luck to all of the teams, and we hope to hear from you. Please reach out to us. Please connect with us. And we're very passionate about Hong Kong, and we're very passionate about helping these businesses grow. So we look forward to being part of this.
Hashtag Hong Kong Passion. Love it. We'll add that one. Peter, before you break out and disconnect, we'll just want to make sure that we give actually everybody here in the call today the opportunity to ask you some live questions on the spot, where you can, take some of them and some you may want to take back home. But if you could just stay a few more minutes on the line and we'll see if we have some questions here in the chat. Let me check.
Absolutely.
Here.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yes. Let me see that. Obviously, I'm sure they have. And I mean, as you pointed out, money at the end of the day impacts us all. So I'm sure there will be a lot of questions around your challenge. Let's see. I'm looking at the Q&A here. There's a Q&A. Will the slides of the Hack.Asia introduction be shared later? Yes, they will. That was not a specific question to Peter, but we can share them for sure with you. Let's see if we get a specific questions for Peter. Or maybe Peter was just like brilliantly clear. No questions at all. Let's see.
It's never happened before.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they might be absorbing the fact that this isn't just about banking. It's not about building a virtual bank. It's not about building a new way of coming up with a product. It's really about how can the challenge that you're trying to solve, maybe it's a media challenge, maybe it's a data and analytics challenge, maybe it's a related retail sector challenge. At any part of where this challenge hits the business, there is going to be a transaction. There's going to be some form of moving money. There's going to be some form of finance involved. There's going to be some form of perhaps lending. So the opportunity here is for you to layer in a solution that HSBC may not have in Hong Kong, that may not exist in the universe today. It may be a completely new, innovative idea to accelerate a business proposition. It may remove friction from a transaction. Like one example might be the Peninsula team have this goal of helping to drive travel experiences. If you were presented with that challenge and the customer has come up with a beautiful or amazing experience, which involves Peninsula hotels and amazing extra experiences, they might want to one-click finance it.
Absolutely, Peter. And actually, we do have some questions now. So there is a question, is there an API for transaction of money online?
They might want to they might want to earn points on that, or there might be ways in which outside the box. It's not just about banking. It's about how do we solve both the company challenge as well as the company's customer challenge.
Right.
And how can digital banking accelerate that?
Yes, and can you hear me, Peter? Because we do have, I'm not sure if you see the questions. So we have some very concrete questions. So is there an API for transaction of money online? And maybe a bit linked to that, could Peter talk more about the software development kits?
Yes, absolutely. So all of you, if there's a way that we can share the link to the Open Lab in this chat, you can all click on, it's openlab.openbankproject.com. Okay, and this is actually linked in the description on the website, so you should be able to see that. When you get to that website, there's three things that you'll be able to see immediately. You'll be able to see how to sign up without any approval. You'll be able to just use your Gmail address or your work address, or whatever you want to use. You'll be able to get access to all of the APIs and all of the documentation and all of the software development kits that exist on OpenLab. Yes, there's 267 different APIs, everything from KYC banking style APIs, right the way through transaction APIs, right the way through webhooks, which would enable you to connect any of your other external APIs that aren't provided into your app. Okay, so very, very easy to understand documentation messages that come back if you build it in and you're finding that it's not authenticating, or that that you're having problems making the API work. It's all very clear on how to fix that. So it's perfect for rapid prototyping. It's perfect for these types of hackathons. You're not going to have to spend hours on tech support talking to people to try and sort it out. Specifically, in the middle section of that website, you're going to see SDKs, software development kits. And there's 9 software development kits that are currently linked. They're all up on a public GitHub. You can click on those. You can download a working version of a mobile iOS app. You can download a working version of a Python kit or a Node.js kit, or depending on which flavor of an SDK you're looking for. That's going to get you started. That's going to give you like all the basics of an iOS mobile phone banking app that you could customize for travel, or you could customize for leisure, or you could customize for F&B. So you could start using one of these working versions of these SDKs and from banking to focus on your particular challenge, and that will give you the basis, which will connect it into the data sets, it will connect it into the APIs, it will connect it to everything else. So we're trying to make it super easy for you guys to build real stuff. We want this to be easy and enjoyable for you as teams. We also have a Slack channel and an email address. If you have challenges or you need some help leading up to the hackathon, please do and ask us some questions so that you're ready to go in the hackathon. You've kind of frozen for me. I'm wondering if...
Yeah, I was also wondering, I think your internet connection, not sure it's 100% stable, but there was one question that was asking, is it possible to just solve the HSBC challenge, or do you have to, solve another challenge at the same time?
Obviously, because I'm a huge supporter of Jardines and all of the other businesses, I would say pick a challenge that you're most familiar with and then add the HSBC challenge to it. But ultimately, some of you may be very passionate about just transactions, and maybe there's a way to build a solution that can solve more than one of the challenges. And it could have a payment solution or a banking solution. Obviously, there's going to be some competitive teams, so you're going to want to, get more tickets into the competition, give you more chances of winning. So make a choice on that. you know, focus on the one that you think you've got the best opportunity to win. Try and leverage as many of the resources that we've got available to you. Also try and leverage as many of the mentors that can give you insights into what the judges are going to be really looking for. Every single challenge is going to have a different set of judges and a different set of criteria. And hopefully HSBC is going to be able to see a whole lot of different ideas. And the reason we haven't put a specific cash prize in here is because we're very interested in bringing on innovation, and you know, we're very interested in talking to those teams that have come up with unique ideas and want to take them forward. So, you know, we've got a fantastic team here in digital, and we've got a large number of developers, a large amount of resources, and we're really interested in actually taking some of these ideas into proof of concepts and pilots, and maybe even into production into the future.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Peter. There was another question, and I think I can also help you answer on your behalf. There was a question about, are we expected to build a mobile application prototype, like for example, on Android or iOS? And so actually, so the solution, the challenge is, it could be mobile, right? Or it could be, you know, any other, you know, platform. What we're just expecting is a prototype, right? So particularly for the startups, right, we really need a working prototype that you present to us. But that could be on any platform. Okay, so let me.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no comment on that. I think focus on the challenge is going to be very specific. Some of them are going to be an internal tool for helping the company solve an internal problem. Some of them are going to be more retail customer or end user focused. Obviously, you're not going to build a mobile app if you're servicing an internal business to business problem. These APIs are not specific to a particular endpoint. You can use these APIs with web-based apps. You can use them with artificial intelligence and back-end apps. You can use them with front-end apps as well. So you have a lot of flexibility in this tool set to come into the challenge feeling prepared, feeling enabled to really be creative and solve the problem.
Brilliant, absolutely. And then there was a question about, you know, if non-tech background students are more than welcome. Totally, you know, you probably have heard this before. You need the 3 H's for a successful startup, not only the hacker, but also the hipster and the hustler. So absolutely, you know, your team should be complete to make sure that your solution is really complete. So I'll quickly answer that. That was not an HSBC specific question. Let me see, could the add-on challenge winner be different than the main challenge winner? Yes, it can.
It can be, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we hopefully HSBC will be able to see all of your activities, and we'll be able to select from the best and choose a winner that kind of, you know, rises above all of them in respect to the HSBC challenge. But we're also incredibly excited to see how you'll be supporting all of these different companies, because, you know, many of them are customers of HSBC, and many of their customers are customers of HSBC. So that's really why we wanted to take a very broad approach to this in Hong Kong. And, you know, we're certainly able to offer mentoring for people that are, you know, trying to solve some of these other challenges as well. Please just don't hesitate to reach out. And if you're not even specifically focusing on the HSBC challenge, but you think that there's some value that we can add, please reach out, say hello, let us know that you've got questions, and we're more than happy to you know, give you some advice or give you some tips.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will be there as well with HSBC on the ground, obviously, or let's say on the internet, you know, to make sure that you answer any Q&A. There was a question with the slides of, you know, Hack.Asia be shared, and I said yes. So actually my team, you know, went back and said, no, what are you telling the team and the people? But the good news is, so the agenda definitely is shared. I know I went super quickly through the agenda of the 36 hours, because I think we have a lot of experience hackathoners here on the call. But for all those who, you know, it's the first time really they join a hackathon, make sure that you go on, you know, Hack.Asia and, you know, look at the agenda. You will see there will be plenty of opportunities to interact with the mentors, right? So, and once again, on the business side, on the technical side, you know, Peter and his team will be there as well. There will also be a lot of, you know, challenges and fun activities just to make sure that you are engaged, and that will make you most successful. So please also reach out to hackathon@WHub.io if you have any questions about how the hackathon is gonna happen through these 36 hours. So you should not be short of any answers to all your questions. Let me see if we get some other ones here. About that one.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Amy, we can hear
Hi.
you. You have a question?
Sure.
Answer.
Yes, I think there's a great question for you here that would be a pity if you don't answer it. So the question is, as an entrepreneur and investor yourself, what advice will you give to new entrepreneurs or startups on testing product and service viability? I think you're in a place to share your wisdom.
Yeah, look, it's a great question. And so there's, in a hackathon, you're not going to have a huge amount of ability to test what you build. But I'm, as like with any design thinker, anyone who looks at, you know, agile processes, you always want to go through this process of really understanding the problem, defining the problem really clearly, going through an ideation process, which, you know, is a big brainstorm, and then narrowing that down to picking a good solution, and then building it and building a prototype. My piece of advice, you know, as both an investor who sees a lot of pitches and an entrepreneur who's done a lot of pitches, is when you get up on stage and you're in front of this set of judges, be very, very clear and succinct in your pitch. Be very, very clear about what your problem you're trying to solve is, what your solution is, and how your solution is unique and different, the competitive advantage of your solution over things that exist today, and what you think you need as an ask to make it happen. If you stand up there and you're very clear about those 4 things, then the judges are going to have no problem understanding where you're coming from, the type of problem you're trying to solve, and how you're articulating it. Hopefully you're going to show a demo of your solution, and they'll be able to give you feedback on the completeness of the demo, or the positive points or the negative points. All the judges are going to be amazing. They're all going to be very constructive and positive about the work that you do. So don't be shy when you get up there. Try and show a demo. But the real trick is clarity, being very clear, being very succinct, and communicating specifically around the challenge. Go back to the challenge statement and read it before you stand up and pitch. Because one of the things that it really hurts me when teams put in a whole lot of work, a whole lot of effort, and then they stand up and then they kind of rush through the presentation, or they miss communicating key points, or they forget to focus on the fact that they understand the problem statement. So the magic here is that final presentation. How do you ensure that the judges really deeply understand the problem that you're trying to solve, and they relate to that? That's it. I think that's all we've got time for.
Thank you, and Peter, let me just, leverage on that. I really want to also highlight that, validating your solution is really part of how you're going to be judged, right? And obviously there is one way to really be creative and reach out. I mean, you're already online, right? There are fantastic opportunity to reach out online, to your potential target customer and just, throw out a questionnaire and see how much replies do you get, right? Is 75% of the people that you reach out to okay with what you're proposing or not? The other thing, once again, leverage your mentors. One of the reasons that the mentors are there is validate your solution each and every time you make progress. Does it make sense? I mean, these are the experts. And very often these are actually your potential clients, right, of your solution. So that is really, really critical. At the end of the day, this is what a hackathon and in general, building a company is all about. Lean startup methodology is you build, then you test it, you measure, and then you pivot or you keep it if it works, right? So never ever forget to get direct market feedback as much as you can for any question or any part of your solution that you have, okay? Leverage the mentors, right? But again, leverage the world.
So thanks again. I hope to see you all again. I'm sure you guys have got a lot on the agenda. I look forward to meeting some of you. Thanks. Thank you, WHub. Thank you, Jardines. Thank you, all the other sponsors. We look forward to an amazing.
Thank you so much, Peter. And I'll let you go off. There was one last comment from an attendee said, not a question, but red glasses look amazing, Peter. Thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you.
great having you. Okay, great, fantastic. So with that, we will get ready. I'll just have a very, very last quick look. Amy, I don't know if you spotted any other questions that at this point in time really need answers. No, I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think if anyone has questions, just ask it in the open chat. So other people probably have similar questions. There was a few asking about, what is the team combination that we would allow? So you can definitely join with anyone. You can join with your parents if you want, your siblings, your schoolmates, your professor. Those are all allowed. So many, many interesting combinations there. Yeah, that was, one of the questions that I spotted. But otherwise, I think we're okay.
Thank you. And arguably at the end of the day, we don't know who's sitting on the other side of the screen. So yes, make sure you get all unfair advantages on your side. Cool. So with that, I think, Amy, we're also ready to break out, right? Do we have mentors on what? There's one more question. There's one more question. What is the question? Like, it's my team is throwing it at me. What is it? Okay. What is the maximum people of each team? That one? Okay. 2 to 5 per team. 2 to 5 people per team. Okay, that is the question that I overlooked. Thanks, team. Cool. So with that, I think we will be ready to break out now into the room. So again, just as a reminder, room 1 is the startup stream, and room 2 is for all student and seasoned innovators. So what's going to happen? Actually, this main room will automatically transform into room 2. Okay, so for all students and innovators who are interested in the business challenges for you, stay here. You'll automatically become room 2. For room 1, we're gonna push you over just in case, it disconnects for whatever bad reason. Don't freak out, okay? We'll get you all back in. So once again, if you're a student, if you're a seasoned innovator, stay here. This is gonna become room 2. And the startup stream, so we're gonna all bring you over, okay?
So we're just gonna wait a few more minutes as everybody joins in and gets everything sorted. And then we're gonna start our awesome presentation. We'll be joined here with our, as you guys heard, our amazing Amy.
Hello, guys. I'm just waiting for some of the business units representative to dial in. Give them a few minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's me, great. I'm just going to jump up and share my screen here just so everyone can see kind of simple breakdown of what's going to happen starting now for our amazing startups looking to challenge the world today. So hopefully everybody should be able to see that. So Amy, can you confirm you can see that just fine, right?
Give me 1 second. Yes, challenge for startups. Yep.
Fantastic.
So far, I think we have colleagues from Hactl. Hi, Toby and Jolina. They're on the line. Let's give the others a few minutes.
Excellent. So just going through, Amy, I just gave you co-host ability. So we're just going to go through and give everybody of our mentors the ability to just be able to share their screen at the given time so you guys can have everything sorted.
Do we have? Graham, can you make Jolene a co-host?
Yeah, I'm just getting into that.
Hello, Amy.
Hi.
Elphys from Hongkong Land. Can you hear us?
Hi. Yes, hi, Alphys. Yes.
Hi, Shirley is with me as well.
Hi, Shirley.
Right.
Excellent. Okay, so I think we have everybody here. Amy, and then we have Alexander. Just got to find Alexander here.
Alex Lee.
Yes,
Not online yet. Let me.
Okay, and then we got everyone else is here. So according to my records, at least, so we just have to find.
Dropping out.
Hello, Amy.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Toby, I can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you. Just testing.
Okay, I've just sent Alex the link. Give him a second. I think whilst we wait, I think we can start because Alex can share later, and since we have the other colleagues here.
Of course, fantastic. Yep. Okay, so is Toby going to be sharing the same computer as Julina?
Yes, Toby, I think you can share your slides from your screen.
Screen sharing.
Or if you prefer, I can also do it.
I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen.
Okay, let me try to share my screen.
So fantastic. Okay, so just to start off today, we're going to be going with Hactl. So Jolina Zhou, Senior Analyst Programmer, and Toby Wong, Senior Manager Engineering Services, to talk to us here today about the amazing Hactl Hack.Asia Challenge. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. So without further ado, why don't we jump in, you guys, Toby and Jolina, to give us a little briefing and understanding of how that's going to work, please.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Toby from Hactl. I'm the Senior Manager of Engineering Services. Today, thank you for your for having this opportunity for me to share and explain the challenges. One of the challenges Hactl have right now. And so in the coming 10 minutes, I think I will spend about a few minutes to introduce my company and a few minutes to introduce the challenges in more details. Okay, first of all, Hactl, we are now based at the Hong Kong International Airport. We are one of the world's leading air cargo terminal operator, and we are one of the key player in Hong Kong, serving the air cargo sectors. As shown in this diagram in the photo, I think we have our own cargo terminal in ourselves. We name it Super Terminal 1. It is one of the world's largest 6-story air cargo terminal. We have a huge floor area, and we have invested a lot in automation to speed up the focus on the efficiency and accuracy of the cargo and our operation. And recently, in daily basis, we will handle about 6,000 tons of cargo within our terminal. Within our terminal, at the center of operation is the automated cargo handling system. As shown in this slide, you may see a lot of photos. I think they are all the automated equipment facilitating the transport of the cargo throughout the warehouse. You may notice that we have a number of equipment. We have a total more than 18,000 pieces of equipment in the terminal, and all of them are connected and controlled by a computer system. To let you have a more understanding on what we are doing in our terminal, as shown in the right-hand corner, there is a cargo. You may notice that we call it a palletized cargo because we can build up the cargo to different shapes. And so we have to put some wire rope and to tie the cargo in different shapes. Therefore, as shown in the fifth slide, you may notice that we have two major systems. One is called the container storage system, which is used to store or transfer all those aircraft handled container within the terminal. For example, from the ground floor to the upper floor, or from the upper floor to the ground floor. And also, at the center of the terminal, we have another system we call box storage system. You may notice that when we receive the cargo from the truck, we will store the cargo into the storage compartment. When it is due time, we will retrieve the cargo for cargo build-up and then deliver the cargo to the aircraft. So basically, every day we have a lot of cargo moving within the terminal. In order to maintain the fully automation process in the terminal, maintenance is one of the essential element in our company. Right now, we have a team of engineering staff work around the clock to carry out typical preventive maintenance, and we also have to conduct the corrective maintenance in order to ensure a safe, efficient, and smooth cargo operation within the terminal. Okay, right now after I talk about the background and the basic operation of our company, we are now come to the challenges. As I explained before, as we have a lot of cargo movement within the terminal, every day we have more than 8,000 pieces of cargo have to be transferred into or out of the system. So we would like to enhance the ability to foresee and predict any potential operational issue or demand in the automated cargo system, such that we can deploy appropriate engineering staff to resume or to make all the cargoes can be running smoothly. With our team, we will upkeep the availability and the mean time to repair of the system. And of course, on the other hand, we have to improve the efficiency of our staff. Ultimately, we would like to reduce our maintenance downtime and reduce the cost. Right now, currently, we mainly depends on the forecast cargo tonnage in the coming few days for me to plan our resources. Every day, usually we will spend maybe 8 to 9 or 10 staff to report duty every shift to ensure we have sufficient manpower to respond all those problems happen in the automation system, and that the cargo can be delivered to the aircraft or to the customer on a timely basis. So in future, we are looking for a software data-driven platform so that we can find out the correlation of the tonnage forecast, the equipment movement, and the number of disruption to the system as a whole, so that we can optimize our technical staff deployment and arrangement or rostering in every day. So right now, because all the data are scattered at different area and the amount of data is huge, so it is quite difficult or time consuming for our staff to do the analysis. So right now, we would like to make use of this opportunity to look to find out the solution for us. In the coming few slides, I will show you some typical data, available data, so that the participant can have a look on what data we are having right now. One of the data we have is about the forecast and the actual tonnage figures. The second set of the data is about the cargo order movement figures. As I mentioned, because all the cargo movement in the terminal are all monitored by a computer system, so we have a huge number of data with different details. For example, we can know the exact location, the amount of order at different locations at different floors. And the last set of data we think may be useful for all of us is about the fault summary, because on every day, as I mentioned, as the cargo moving in the terminal, maybe due to the packing, maybe due to the base of the container, every day there are a number of disruptions happen in the terminal. So when now we have a full record of all those problems we have, and we hope we can make use of all this data to find out a solution for us, so that we can predict and arrange appropriate manpower to cater for the daily operation. I think that's all for my part. Maybe if you have any question, please feel free to ask your question to me.
Well, fantastic. I think that's really insightful. I really loved how you gave specific metrics about the cargo. Obviously, you guys are doing 8,000 in and out per day. That's a fairly large amount. And to be honest, I mean, it's a pretty cool system you guys got in place. I mean, I don't know if anyone else is super impressed by the automated hardware and everything that goes involved with that. It's really interesting to be able to utilize that. So as Toby was just saying, I want you guys to be able to send in chat any questions or anything that you guys might have. We can, if you don't necessarily want to ask it now, we can always ask it at the end and have Toby come back and answer that for us. But I think overall that was a fantastic presentation, and it was really insightful to understand a little bit more about how to really solve that. Because I was trying to figure out that myself. I mean, it was a little bit of mixture of people management, a little bit of prediction software in there. So there's really a lot of caveats to already an amazing system.
I think just also a few things to add, right? I think definitely Hactl is one of the leading players globally for air cargo sector. So Hong Kong is one of the busiest airport, as we know, and I think sort of Hactl is like the biggest that operates in this space in Asia. it will be very interesting for whichever startup who is interested in joining to work with Toby, his team, and also other experts from Hactl to really dive deep into the issue. And if you manage to solve these from Hactl, I think it would be, could be easily replicated for other air cargo handling companies, because it is very hard to find someone that's any bigger in size. They will all be more manageable than Hactl. So if you can work on this one, there will be opportunities for you to translate that experiences across to other providers too.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a great point. The opportunities available are just endless because everyone's looking into the same industry. Everyone's that's dealing with any sort of logistics and couriering things. There's lots and lots of opportunities for this to really grow into so many values for the startup. Okay, so we'll sort out the questions and go through forward as we need to. But for now, thanks again, Julian and Toby, for giving us an amazing presentation. So a virtual clapping. Everyone can virtually clap if you guys want.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you again for participating. So please stick around as we know we're going to have more questions coming. So next we're going to jump into Hongkong Land, presented here by Shirley Lam, the General Manager of Commercial Property. So Shirley, please jump in, start sharing the screen, and let's hear more about how amazing that is. So if everyone wants to kind of pay attention, it's going to be the leveraging consumer insights for tenant selection.
Hi, Glenn. Hi, Amy. Thanks for having us this evening. Maybe I should start with introduce who Hongkong Land is. Hongkong Land is a company with 130 years of history. So we are a Asia leading developers who invest, manage, and develop properties all over Asia. We owned approximately 850,000 square meters of prime office and luxury retails in key Asia cities. For those who based in Hong Kong and Singapore, you might know the landmark in Central, our Central portfolios, as well as our office portfolio in Singapore at the Marina Bay. We also had a very strong footprint in China, with 7 key cities, ranging from Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, Chengdu, Chongqing, Nanjing. And we also has properties in Cambodia, Vietnam, Bangkok, and Indonesia. Our properties range from residentials, which for those who are based in Singapore, you might know MCL Land, being a premium residential developers, to prime office and retail. So our problem statement will be focusing on our retail products, which I would try to elaborate a little bit more about what is our business model. So Hong Kong Land owned different retail malls in different cities, and then we have luxury retail mall similar to the landmark in Hong Kong, Macau, and Beijing, anchored by brands like Hermès, Chanel, Louis Vuitton. We also have some community mall products, mainly in key cities in China like Chongqing, which you might see brands like Zara, Uniqlo, which is relevant to day-to-day life of communities. So I think the problem statement that we have is, how could we as a landlord use data-driven consumer insights and retail trends to guide the selections of new tenants at our malls? Maybe I should explain and elaborate a little bit about our business model. So we are landlord, so we offer physical space. So i.e. we sell space. So we traditionally collect rent from our tenants who generate retail revenues and then to pay for the rent. As a landlord, we work very closely with our tenants to create traffics who will convert into sales. And then we will normally be very cautious about the retail mix, which could be very, very relevant to our target consumer segment. So I think it's very important to create the correlations among the right retail mix to give the consumer a holistic experience to ensure, they come and then enjoy the space, enjoy the whole retail experience, and to, most importantly, buy and shop with us. I think traditionally, the tenant selection process will be very much depends on individual judgment and experiences. So our pain point is whenever we select a tenants, we are being locked into a 3 to 5 years lease because of the heavy capital investment the tenant has to put in to renovate the store. Unlike supermarket, which offer shelf space, that they could continue to change and evolve the products subject to the sales performance. I.e., today, they may find Coca-Cola, being very popular and generate a good sales. And tomorrow, if Coca-Cola is not popular, they could easily replace with Pepsi. However, as a landlord, it's actually very difficult for us to change the tenants once they have committed with us and to invest in the space. So that's why when selecting the retail tenants, it's very important that we ensure this is the optimum tenant mix that could provide a good adjacency among each other, that they could generate traffic and sales for the consumers and continue to create interest and stay relevant in the market. So what do we normally look at in the tenant selection process? We normally look at the brand's credentials, the historical performances, and whether these brands are compatible to the mall's positionings. We also look at our target segment's behaviors, i.e., what is the lifestyle, what is their shopping habits, and what is their brand's preference. We also look at macro trends and market insights such as business intelligence, market research, as well as macro trends. However, these informations are very fragmented and unstructured and very, very subjective, depending on how asset managers view the brand's life cycle. So we do not have a very structured and transparency on data to support decisions. So what we want to is to aggregate and analyze trends on some public informations, such as user-generated contents in the various platforms like OpenRise or any social medias. We want to understand what the consumers' feedback on these brands and how do they value them. However, again, the information are very fragmented. And we also want to generate insight from these data to project trends, i.e., what would be the up and rising brand that is non-existent in the current market to bring the next generation of brands into our mall to create new excitements such that when you're shopping in our mall, that you will find a point of interest, a unique offerings that could stimulate your buying behaviors. So I think the expectations out of this hackathons is we want to have a digital tool or solutions that could automate and accelerate the data collections, analyze process and management of data that could generate insights to help our retail leasing team to support the tenant selections requirements, as well as to create a very interesting offerings in our mall in terms of new to market brands. So, I think that's pretty much sum up, the problem statement, pain point, and also our objective that we would like to get out from this exercise. Thank you.
Fantastic. I mean, a round of applause for that one. You talk about how it was just a summary. I think we're barely touching the surface on how impactful this kind of a solution can be. I mean, we talk about how you're open up to social platforms and the capabilities of what they offer as insights on user trends and behaviors. So that's just a way larger potential to really help not only just you as the landlord, but also all the consumers get more products of what they're looking for and what they really want to offer overall as products in what seems to be the main focus of actually going to a mall and enjoying that experience versus going to the online experience of just purchasing. So I think that was really, really insightful. I don't know what you thought, Amy. I mean, I thought that was
yeah. I think Hongkong Land is seen as also trying to innovate about how they operate the mall. And what Shirley was suggesting there is, rather than signing longer leases, what are some other things that we can do so maybe the type of store changes faster, right? So it is very data centric in a way, the challenge, but I think if someone could also ties in new ideas of how that could work in the setting of leasing, I think that would be a lot of bonus points. Yes, definitely.
Because we don't have to look at it just as a mall-centric solution, because prediction software, when it comes to understanding tenants, could also translate into the housing market, right? Obviously, we want to understand where that would fit and how those tenants would really work. But you have so many amazing, and the fact that not everyone's aware that Hongkong Land is providing data for this, and you guys are going to get access to the insights and the emerging brand trends, that it's going to be a part of the resources. And I think that's really cool that that's going to be kind of there and available. We do actually have a question. Oh, go ahead, Amy.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. I think that's a very, very good question. Shirley, can you see the question? If not, we can read it out for you. On the side, if you open the chat function, it's quite a long question. I
can answer, ask it. So how do you look at disruptive innovation that are not yet in trends, but could help you become more outstanding? And then a follow-up to that would be, would you have a startup showcase as one of your tenants? Would that be an option as well?
How do you look at disruptive and
I've already sent a photo just in case.
No worries. And Kate, we did get your question last time.
I think that's absolutely possible. I think we are always open to different formats that we work with our retail tenants. We did have some innovative initiative called Code Lab last year that we work with designers around the world via machine learning, and then the purchases are being done on a virtual space, but with online offline pop-up. So we will be welcoming different ways of retailing in the futures, and then we are very open-minded.
Great question, or great answer there. So we do actually have another question here, is about if you want to answer this one, is does Hongkong Land generate more from rental income or the percentage of purchases sold in the mall? Is that kind of where they're area of revenue comes from?
Well, I think that's different, arrangement on the deal that we normally strike with tenants. So there will be different structures, and some of the arrangement will be similar to, and related to the sales of the tenants. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic, Shirley. A round of applause virtually for Shirley and HK Land for this amazing insight and really well put together presentation. So we're going to jump next into the face you've already been seeing, the voice you already fell in love with, Amy Lau, that's going to be represented here on behalf of Jardine International Motors.
Yes, because our colleague at the Motors business, their whole team has, an appointment tonight and they're not able to be here today. So I will, on their behalf, Graham, you have to open the right for me to share my screen. You could do that for me.
Oh, I thought you already have that.
I think I dropped off the call just now, so maybe that's why.
So sad.
Downgraded on my way back. Okay, let me open Windows.
In the meantime, everybody, don't forget to fill in the questions. We didn't have a question yet answered from for Hactl, but we'll fall back to that after. So in the meantime, Toby or Jolina, if you guys want to answer that, by all means, please do that, and we can further on.
So basically talking to you guys a little bit about Jardine International Motors as a brand. A lot of you probably wouldn't recognize Jardine International Motors as a company because it's sort of a newly formed entity after some restructuring that we did within our group. But under Jardine International Motors, actually, we operate more than 200 dealerships, serving more than 500,000 customers with, a lot of revenue generated across a lot of different markets in Asia. So here is a slide that shows you in a lot more detail on where those shops are. So most of these on the right, you can see under Zongfu will be Mercedes-Benz dealerships. So essentially, we have a partnership with Daimler where we sell their Mercedes vehicles for them in, I think, more than 40 dealerships across China, mainly in the south side, also in Hong Kong and in Macau. So in Hong Kong and Macau, we are the only exclusive dealer. So if you have a Mercedes-Benz that you bought from an official store, it will be sold to you by Jardines, actually. On the left, you can see the cycle and carriage logo. Singapore is another market where we have an exclusive arrangement with Mercedes. So if someone buys a new Mercedes vehicles from an official store, it will again be sold to you by us. So as you can see, this is a lot of exposure, right? In sort of a single brand. Of course, we also do other brands in different markets, but we're heavily invested in the automotive business and selling people vehicles. The positioning of the Mercedes-Benz car is definitely premium. So what we want to do is to try and build a longer term relationship with people who buy these vehicles, not just a one-off transaction where they leave, get the car, leave, maybe come back for after-sale services, and we don't really see them anymore. So they have their annual checkup where they come back every year, but how do we sort of increase the level of interaction that we have, build a stronger bond, a stronger connection with them, and be top of mind in terms of one of the brands that they're thinking of. So colleagues from the Motors business had a lot of brainstorming sessions, and they think that mobility and lifestyle offering is a way to keep people within the system, within the loop. So there's a lot of trials that's going on between actually Zongfu and Hongkong Land. They're testing a few interesting services, linking, the premium positioning of the Hongkong Land Mall and the Zongfu dealership. But we want to find out more. So we want people to come up with ideas of what type of mobility and lifestyle service offering that we could do, are you a startup that we can partner with, for example, that we can offer something different, experiences that people can't get anywhere else. So essentially this is for everyone to just get creative and see, what else are mobility and lifestyle services that we can bring to our customers. So we keep that interaction with them and we keep them coming back for more interactions, not necessarily to sell more vehicles, but we want to build, more touch points with them, more frequency of interaction, and then we will see where we go from there. At the end of the day as well, I think there are too many choices in this world for a lot of people, and sometimes people are overwhelmed when they have way too many options. And it's up to, a brand like Jardines or like Zongfu to help people narrow down, filter, into a catered set of offering and say, hey, we screened these for you. These will be amazing things that you will like and enjoy. Why don't you pick from here or pick from what we have selected? But of course, I think why they wanted to be part of this hackathon is they also want to be surprised. I think if you sit in a room with people who run dealerships all day, it's very easy for them to go into like a circular thinking where, you know, the word mobility, the word lifestyle comes up all the time. But what does it really mean? Can we expand what they think the definition of mobility is? And I think we're just waiting to see if there are startups that could do that for them. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it will be easier when I sort of answer your questions to share more insight, essentially.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, man, if we could always win a Mercedes, that would be pretty good as a prize as well.
I think you can definitely test drive the Mercedes. That I can promise. If you have a license, I can arrange that for you. I know Graham, you're in Hong Kong, so we could definitely do that. But for everyone else who participates, I'm happy to share a few name cards of our colleagues that you can arrange.
I was lucky enough to already do that at the Mercedes launch event for their electric EQC, I think.
Yes.
So I was lucky enough to be able to do that. It was quite an experience, and even though I wish the overall experience was longer, but unfortunately they wouldn't let me drive away with it that day. But yes, fantastic insights, and I think that happens with many companies, not just Jardine International Motors, but every company. We always get kind of pigeonholed in understanding terminology, understanding our market, and then having that disconnect between what consumers are getting and what we understand. So having that really good insight of being able to say, we know what we know, but we really want to understand and really fit within what our consumers want and give them the experience the best we can. And really facilitating that members exclusive club to say, we really care about you and we appreciate you. Let's bring up your experience and bring apart a better overall reason to come in and join us. Really shows the care and devotion to their consumers versus just what's the money in the bank at the end of the day. And I think that's a really good insight and really good takeaway outside of just solving that amazing problem is that the care and concern that comes into that. So Definitely. We'll just go through. If anyone has any questions for Amy on behalf of Jim, please feel free to send that in chat. We'll give that one more minute. Do you have any insights or any questions that you, or things that you want to facilitate, Amy, as well, while we wait for any follow-up?
I really think, you know, there are certain typical lifestyle offerings or mobility offerings that our colleagues have already thought of, and I think they're waiting to be surprised, essentially, on what else that they don't know. And also, the other thing is, if I'm not really sure about the geographic location of everyone who's dialing in from, but even if you are, you know, further away, not necessarily in Hong Kong, but as you said, as you see just now, we have a lot of different exposure in markets across Asia. We actually also have dealerships in Europe and in the UK. So even if you're not from Hong Kong, definitely apply, because if it is suitable, we will recommend you to our colleagues who are in other locations, and they can do a trial, a pilot, and a test with you. Yeah.
And that's fantastic because it really brings apart the whole unique approach that Hack.Asia is doing right now, which is the global international scene, not just a Hong Kong focus. We really want to reach out and fit and facilitate everything in any area all these companies can offer. Because it's not just Jardine International Motors that is doing it. We have other challenge representatives that are across the world. So we do have a question here. Do you want to answer that one?
Yes, so it is not mainly for Mercedes-Benz. Yes, Mercedes-Benz just launched their first electric vehicle called EQC, I think Q4 last year. So we sort of, electric vehicles is definitely part of the scope. Apart from Mercedes-Benz, we also have other brands such as Kia, Citroën. I think those are two definitely other brands that we carry. So no, I think just maybe focusing on something or experiences that's more premium, but it doesn't necessarily have to relate to Mercedes-Benz. Not really. Just mobility, premium lifestyle. That's more the direction rather than the brand of the car.
And I think that's a fantastic question because obviously we did jump in and talk about Mercedes as an example, but fantastic question on that one for sure. Okay, so if there's no more questions, or we'll save the other questions for later, let's jump in for the next one. So we're going to have Mandarin Oriental Hotel presented by Alex Lee. So Alex, if you want to go ahead and start sharing your screen. Oh, and
Here we
turn on the
go.
camera.
Hi,
Fantastic.
Alex. You're on
See,
mute
yeah,
still.
Sorry,
unmute.
thanks.
There we go.
Hi guys. I don't have any special slides, I'm afraid, so you're just going to have to put up with my voice for a few minutes.
Oh, and don't
think-
forget to frame that face perfectly, because I think that's good enough to sell.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I wasn't born with a great face, but as I said, you have to put up with what I got. So look, firstly, thank you everyone for joining. I'd like to first ask by saying, if anyone has not heard of Mandarin Oriental, can you type a message in the group chat? If you've not heard of Mandarin Oriental. Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds just to make sure that's all there.
Nothing yet.
Okay, cool.
In the meantime, if you don't have something to share, I wouldn't mind sharing my screen so that people can see the Mandarin Oriental challenge at the same time.
Please do.
Go ahead, please
do.
continue. I'll share my screen.
And if you're wondering what's in the background, that is indeed a giant teddy bear, just so you can see it. She gives me support every day in life, so you'll be seeing if I mentor any of your groups. So look, so it sounds like everyone has heard of Mandarin Oriental, okay? So I don't want to really spend any time talking about what Mandarin Oriental is. We're a luxury hotel group. We've got hotels all over the world. Hopefully some of you have either stayed with us or interacted with us in some way, shape or form. Quite simply, I think our challenge hopefully is something all of you can relate to. You know, I really wish we were in a room and I could interact with you, but let's try and make this quite simple. When you go on holiday and you've booked a hotel, how do you find things to do around your hotel? How do you book restaurants? How do you go find theater to go to? How do you book hiking trips? How do you look for local experiences? Okay, generally what happens is you do your own research. You know, you go into Time Out, Lifestyle Asia, you've got friends, etc., or you email the concierge, okay? Whether you're doing your own research or you're emailing the concierge or phoning the hotel, it's a pretty painful experience, isn't it? There's a lot of back and forth. You don't know whether or not what they're telling you is real or trustworthy, and it takes too long. So all we want to do is we want to solve that problem. We want to bring, hopefully, a digital platform to our guests that will allow them to find these experiences, schedule them, book them through us. We can help as well. That's the customer problem statement, right? On the back end, in terms of Mandarin Oriental and our staff, the problem is that our response time to people is slow. Updating our own knowledge of what's hot and what's not in every market is time consuming and painstaking. We usually only have a few concierge in each hotel. And if you can imagine, if they've got 300 people emailing them, it's pretty hard to respond and also to know what each customer's preferences are and to suggest the right things to them all the time. So there's kind of two aspects of the problem. There's one, you know, it's painful for the customer to find all of these experiences. And on the other hand, for our staff and Mandarin Oriental colleagues, it's hard for us to know what to suggest. So very simply, I mean, I think our problem statement is quite, you know, we've formed it in a very sort of hackathon type of way, and I'll just repeat it. How can Mandarin Oriental simplify and improve the way guests find, schedule, and purchase events, eateries, and other bespoke local experiences in each of its destinations? That's the problem statement. But I think by giving you that use case I just now, think about yourself. When you go to a destination, wouldn't it be so much easier if you had some sort of platform you could use that was connected to the hotel, that you could book all and schedule all of the wonderful experiences you want to do at your destination? That's really all I had to say, unless there are any questions. So there is one question. Is there any data available on what questions are being asked? Sorry, just to clarify, you mean on what guests are requesting from the concierge? We can probably provide some data, yes, but it's pretty sporadic. I can definitely get you some data though, but it's everything. You know, how can I, where can I find some sporting experiences? How can I book restaurants? What are the best things to do? I've got 3 days in Hong Kong. What are the best things to do? It's all those kind of things. Think about the questions you would ask.
Alex, I think this is a great chance for them to somehow manage ways to categorize potentially all those questions for us and maybe do something interesting and more advanced, even though they could be just emails that we're getting. So we can see what we can get for them, and they could find a way maybe to sort it that we haven't done yet.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And there's no limitations, I would hope, on other services they can integrate in. So i.e. if obviously we're looking at a Mandarin hotel in Hong Kong, it's located by an amazing theme park. And so in which case, leveraging the, a Google Maps service or leveraging other existing things like maybe OpenRice in Hong Kong or Yelp or in other areas to further offer that experience is available for the challenge? Or are you guys wanting to shy away and kind of use only a wholly owned or wholly used solution?
Sorry, Graham, could you repeat that quickly?
Sure, I can simplify the question down. Are you guys open to integrating into third-party services like Yelp or OpenRice and things like that to better offer those kind of question and answers?
Of course, absolutely.
Then that's 100%. Fantastic. I mean, that's really great. So we do have another question here. Oh, this is a general question, so we can answer that one after. We did answer it on the main stage, which is basically, what about showcasing a demo at the end? Obviously, that is the main purpose. We want to have a prototype. We want to have something for anyone to see. You will be able to facilitate that with a slideshow explaining your business model, everything. But ideally, every single one of our amazing partners here for all the challenges are expecting to see a solution within by the end of the 3 days.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, I think the Mandarin Hotel one is a fantastic solution, and especially something where it's like there's a couple other challenges that are a little bit hard to kind of see a quick end result. Like you can really kind of feel most people that are going to be participating, or most people in the world, have kind of stayed at a hotel in some point, right? And they should really understand that experience. It doesn't matter if it was at a large-scale hotel or a less one. They really understand. In another area, there's lots of questions, lots of things to be involved with. So being able to facilitate that and really kind of makes them aware of that problem more so than, say, some of the other challenges. This is something that they've already had to deal with somehow in their own life.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally find, that's why we set it up. Hopefully we find it super relatable. Anyone who's ever been to any new city, this is the first thing that comes to mind. And increasingly, I think, as there's more and more out there on the internet about what you should do, it's super hard to find what's actually relevant and what's not.
Especially with the language barrier, right? Many people want to travel to places that may not always speak the same language that you do. So having that capabilities with an amazing hotel like Mandarin Oriental allows that kind of language barrier to be less, and allows for them to say, is there a place I can go find that maybe speaks English or speaks Cantonese? And I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like having that level of help would really further enhance. We do have a question here. Do you want to read that one? If you can see the questions?
I can see the question. So it's, has a prescribed experience ever worked for a hotel guest? And the answer is absolutely yes. It's a little bit complex, Mr./Mrs. C, in that it really depends on the customer that's coming to the hotel, right? Because certain types of customers, and I don't want to generalize here, but there are some cultures who are less informed about the destinations they go to. So as an example, if you're a Hong Kong Chinese and you go to Japan, a prescribed 3-day itinerary will not work for you, because Hong Kong Chinese are super clued in on what to do in Tokyo and what to do in Osaka, etc. Right? That's not what they want. But there are other. If you're coming to Japan for the first time from Texas, yes, absolutely, a 3-day itinerary is amazing. Absolutely. So it really depends. That's the part of the complexity of this. It's and not to give too much away, but we've had some ideas on this, but somehow having something to build your own sounds kind of fun, right? Some way that you can build your own itinerary, and somehow, because where the expertise of the hotel comes in is if you build your own itinerary and you pick a couple of restaurants we've suggested, we're going to be the ones to get you in, because not every hotel can get you into these places. That's where Mandarin Oriental's concierge has always been so powerful, is that we can get you into the best places at short notice. We can literally get the restaurant to add another table. Now, this is slightly more difficult in the COVID era because of the distancing rules that are in place. But in the past, we could get them to stick a table anywhere, right? So another question, will you offer a day spa? No problem. Depends which hotel, depends which country you're from, Sebastian. I'm sorry, anonymous, you're anonymous, so I can't tell it all even from the name, but that's not a problem. We can certainly organize that. What is your plan on the global rollout solution? Focus on Hong.Asia direct scale. Well, we'd love it to be something that is scalable globally. What we would most likely do is pilot it. And what we do with most of our technologies is we pilot it in a country first, probably one of our key markets. And that's likely to be Hong Kong or London. But it can be what, honestly, you can pick any market that we're in that you think we should pilot it in, and we would do that. So we would pilot it in a couple of markets, you know, sort of perfect the product, the tool, and then roll that out globally. Absolutely.
I mean, this is fantastic. There's so much detail. I'm certainly seeing everyone kind of involved and really coming up with questions. And I certainly know the next time I go to Tokyo and I know I want to go to a specific sushi restaurant that takes 3 months to get in, but I'm going to book for this coming weekend, I'm going to rely on Mandarin to get me that reservation, even though it doesn't exist. We'll see if that works out. So fantastic. If anyone else has any more questions, we'll certainly facilitate. We'll always provide a recap of this as well online. And I want to just say again, thank you again, Alex. You're fantastic with Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Amy, thank you for being a part of this as well. You've been great. We do have another question. I will have that in a second. Thank you very much, Shirley Lam. Thank you, Jolina and Toby from Hactl. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys this evening and really showcasing the challenge. And I look so much forward to the Hack.Asia event really proceeding and being an amazing experience for everybody involved. And I know all the participants coming up with so many great solutions is really going to have something to showcase. So we do have this last question here. So about challenges that are data-driven that are easy to formulate as an analytics solution. But for the Jardine International Motors one, I'm not very clear what type of solution can we build. Will the necessary data sets be provided so that we can do the analytics analytics way, or will we need to develop a software to implement some sort of business process?
Yes, so I think I will get them to give you a better answer, but from what I understand, I know a lot of these sort of problem statements has a data analytics components to this, but I think for this one specifically, it is one of the ones that has less data analytics involved. Definitely, if it could be a software that's implemented in the business process, that would be amazing. But I don't think there is a significant amount of data that we will be sharing with you. I think we have done, for example, some internal testing on a few ideas. They might be able to share the results from customer testing or some validation study that they've done. They've done a lot of market scan. We can also share those sort of qualitative information with you. But because it's an open-ended question on what could be possible, I think there isn't a lot of existing data that they will share and for you to look at. So, so no, it doesn't have to be a data analytics solution. And yes, it would be good if it is a software that could be implemented, but it could also be a very interesting business model, for example, particularly for this one, that I think they will gladly accept as a solution. Vincent, if you leave your contacts, or Graham, do we have Vincent's contact so we can get back to him with a more concrete answer for his question after I check with colleagues from the Motors business?
Vincent, if you want, just go ahead and DM me directly, and then your email and stuff, so we can contact you. So obviously we don't want you to tell everybody what your emails or contact details are. I do have a couple things to follow up with though. So obviously we still have so much more coming for this event, and I want to showcase that. So obviously we still appreciate and we love the fact that all of you guys spent so much time. All of our representatives from all the different challenges, please, again, round of a virtual applause for them participating. I really appreciate that. I do want to mention that we do have an upcoming, so I'm going to send this in the chat, a Microsoft Azure event coming up next that is going to be you learning about Microsoft Azure platform and how it's really going to elevate your solution for the hackathon to the next level. And then I want to say that if any of the startups looking to participate are also looking to hire, there is a job fair coming up during this time that's going to be for SIS, so the Startup Impact Summit. And sorry, I just happened to see Vincent send out his email to everybody. So yes, if you're looking to join that, we're going to share the link here right now in the chat. So here is the link for the Microsoft Azure, and then for the Startup Impact Summit for all of our amazing amazing startups to be able to join. If you're looking to be able to showcase yourself and hire some staff and just see how impactful you've been, and participate as well with all the amazing talks that we're going to have during this event. We'd really love for you to sign up and showcase, because we know that right now, after hearing about all the startups and all the amazing opportunities that are available, you're going to be able to have a chance to work with so many great expertise in the industry, as well as get really good chances to build out that POC, the proof of concept, and really bring that solution forward. So feel free to ask us any more questions. Contact us through Hack.Asia. So using the email hackathon@whub.io. And please feel free to ask any additional details from ourselves and from all the amazing partners. Thanks again, and really appreciate everyone's help, and especially you, Amy. You've been great help here tonight to really illustrate all this great stuff that we have here.
No, thank you, Ram. Thank you, Ram, for the great moderation. I'm very excited for everyone to start submitting their submissions. And Sebastian, yes, I see your comment there just now. I'm sure Alex is very keen to see what your vision. He will be very keen to see your vision.
Absolutely. So that's the end of it. If anyone else has any more additional questions or details, please feel free to message. We're going to stay online for a little bit longer, but we don't necessarily have to keep all of our amazing participants here. So feel free to either just message me or message Amy directly, and just reach out to us at Hack.Asia. And we'll be able to further facilitate and answer all of your questions and make sure you guys have the best solutions coming for Hack.Asia this year. And thanks again for participating, and all of our participants and panelists to showcasing the event.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.